Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to How to Set Authentic Goals with me, Natalie Warren. I'm going to make a more formal introduction in a moment, but I wanted to welcome you guys to the room, to this training, to this webinar, because I know what's about to happen for you, and I've been excited. I woke up early this morning with so many downloads that I wanted to share with you in the training, and we're going to get going. So what I need to do is share my screen so that you'll be able to watch. And I also encourage you while we're doing this part to go ahead, grab paper and a pen. Grab paper and a pen. You're going to need it, or if you're a typer, go ahead and grab your tablet. But I want you to go ahead and start getting in the mindset because we're going to do some interactive stuff in the training so that you can really start this process. I don't want to just give you information. I really want you to have the tools that you need to move forward. And so we are going to get going with how to set goals that align with your soul. I believe your soul is the essence of who you truly are. And we're going to talk about why you need to set authentic goals in regards to you moving forward for 2020. I think this is so vital and so important. And we're going to look at how to do that. But let me introduce who I am. Many of you may know some of me or who I am or what I do, but I want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to get to know a little bit about who I am. So let's start with the personal. I am actually a wife and a mother. I just celebrated 8 years of marriage, and we have 3 little people. So my life is a little busy. I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And we don't have any dull moments in my household, if you understand what it's like to have kids that young and all of the busyness that happens. But they're such a joy, and we're delighted that God has blessed us with them. So I'm a wife and a mother. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I have been in private practice for 11 years. I've been in the field for about 14. And I literally jumped out after becoming licensed, fully licensed, and started a private practice. And so I've been doing that work, and I absolutely love being able to support women in the way that I do, as well as children and families. Also love what I get to do is I get to be a coach. I am a transformational coach and speaker. I have went on this year to now become an international speaker. And I love speaking on things that really help women to know the truth of who they are, helping them to have a more fulfilling life and to really overcome any and everything that's getting in the way of them doing that. That is the absolutely thing that I love doing, which is why this training about goal setting is so vital, because it allows me to help you to set goals that will help you to reach your goal in life and create something that's more fulfilling for you. And so I absolutely love doing that work. I have been setting my own goals. I know I look really young, but I've been setting my own goals for 13 years. I learned and was introduced to goal setting in 2006. And I started at the time writing down my goals. I was challenged at that moment to really set them beyond the year. So I set them for 5 years, for 10 years, for 50 years and 100 years, which was 50 years and 100 years was really hard because I realized that we don't typically think beyond where we are. And so it really stretched me, and it helped me to do a lot of things that you see that I'm doing today. At that time, those goals were really big and far-fetched. And I remember thinking, like, God, how am I going to be able to do this? Like, I don't even know. And what he said to me is what I want to share with you. He said, Natalie, plan for where you're going, not for where you are. Plan for where you're going, not for where you are. And that was probably the most important advice, wisdom that I got, because it allowed me to think beyond where I was. And that's a part of what I want you to do as well. We're going to think about 2020, but I also challenge you to think beyond that. And so my goal setting experience has helped me to accomplish so many things that I've done. I've now become a podcaster. I have been afforded the opportunity to write books, many things that I wrote down simply just thinking, okay, this is something that I want to do. I've been able to do many of those things. I'm going to talk specifically, though, about my transformation in 2019 because I think it's so relevant. And I want to help you with your 2019 as you're moving into 2020. I would call my 2019 my year of transformation. I really call it a year of transformation because I literally transformed from the inside out. Like, many people ask me, how did you lose 14 pounds in such a short amount of time? And I really tell them this process that I'm going to be teaching you guys in this training. And it really started with something as simple as what we're going to do today is about setting an intention. And I'm going to teach you how to do that in this training. And I'm going to also show you how to set them for your own life. But the transformation for me was that, and then it was so much more. I mean, I worked through a lot of my own inner stuff. The stuff that I teach other women to do, I do in my own life. And what I did was some of that inner work, the inner healing, letting go of my own fears, my own limitations, and realizing that I don't have to continue to live under the story that was created when I was 7 or 8. The programming that was done at that very young age was impacting the woman that I am today. So the picture that you see on the screen is me a year ago or over a year ago, around this time of the year, and me probably this summer. That was probably a picture from this summer. And that for me speaks to the transformation. And so I'm going to talk to you about how I lost the weight, but I'm going to tell you how I did it with the steps that we're going to do in the training. And I feel absolutely amazing. I cannot describe to you the feeling, how I feel more confident, more assured, I feel lighter. I feel magnetic. I just feel amazing. And I'm going to talk to you about feelings and emotions because this is the way I teach my trainings. I'm going to talk to you about transforming your thinking and understanding that there is a way for you to think differently that's going to help you to accomplish your goals faster. We're going to talk about discovering what truly motivates you. We are all motivated by something. Now, whether something is a positive or a negative is a totally different story, but we're all motivated by something. And if we can tap into what truly motivates you, you can move faster in accomplishing your goals as well. I'm going to help you with connecting to your personal power. It is your unique channel to abundance. And when I think of abundance, I'm not just talking about money. I'm thinking about peace. I'm thinking about inner happiness. I'm thinking about joy. All of those things for us equate to abundance. And then I'm going to help you to learn how to take consistent, deliberate, inspired action. I add all 3 of those words. It's consistent, it's deliberate, and it is inspired. And when you do that, you'll be able to really step into 2020 a different way and dominate your goals that you have for 2020. What I want you to realize is that it's so much easier to meet your goals when you actually want to meet them and you enjoy the process. I cannot tell you how easy it was for me to lose weight. I had been trying to lose weight after having my daughter. My last one is 2 years old. And I've been trying, I thought in my head, to lose weight, and nothing was happening. But when I tell you that it was something that I actually wanted and I enjoyed the process of doing it, and it was super easy. Like, I can't tell you how easy it was for me and how I was able to do that. But that was just one part of the things that I accomplished this year. But I'll teach you that process on how to do it. What are authentic goals? So put in the chat if you've ever heard of authentic goals, because this is a language that maybe you're not familiar with, but I want to make sure I understand where you are before I dive deeper into it. What are your thoughts about it? Have you ever heard of authentic goals? So let me tell you more about them as I'm waiting for your answers. Authentic goals really inspire you and they stir up enthusiasm. And one of the things with that is that keeps you motivated. Right? They help you to really align with your values and your beliefs. There's nothing like being out of alignment. I teach women about that, about being in alignment and being out of alignment. And when you're in alignment, it really aligns with your values and your beliefs. And it sets you up to be able to be successful. What you want is another thing that makes it authentic. It's something that you want, and it's not something that you expect others want for you. How many of us has really done something because we thought that was what other people expected us to do? Maybe it was they expected me to go to college and major in this certain subject or area of specialty. Maybe it's that, I was supposed to get the house right after I graduated from college, and that was what others expected of me. A lot of the times, our goals can be focused around what we think other people expect from us. But when we really do the work to do an authentic goal, it's really about what you want. Maybe you're not going to go after the goal because it's something that will make you money and that's what people want, or you think that's what people want. You might go after it because it's your passion. It's something that you absolutely love. It's something that you can wake up to every day and just do. And that's what makes it authentic. The other part is that it gives you the strength and the courage strength and courage you're going to need, right? To push you beyond your comfort zone. Everything is really on the outside of the comfort zone that you're wanting to accomplish. And having those authentic goals will give you that strength and the courage to really push you beyond those limits and to do something different. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you, to do something different and how that can really move you forward. So always in the work that I do, we've always got to start with the mindset, because everything starts with how you're thinking. Your mindset is simply a collection of your beliefs that impact or determine your actions. Okay? So when we're aware of what we are thinking, it really helps us to move forward. So the first one I want you to shift in, ladies, is to know that you are not, and I repeat, not what you have, do, or accomplish. It is not the truth. You are not what you have, what you do, or what you accomplish. A lot of the times, our identity and our value and our security as a woman is tied up in one of these three things. And a lot of the times, that's where we get stuck. But you are not that. You are so much more than the roles and responsibilities, than the degree or the lack of having the degree. You are so much more than that. That's our first shift before we even move into setting a goal. The next thing is, I want you to shift out of this mindset that you have to hustle and work hard to have what you want. In this training, I'm going to talk to you about how simple and easy it was for me to accomplish many of my goals. Now, that doesn't mean I did not work, but it does mean that I didn't get into the hustle of it, working hard. I chose not to do that, and I still was able to accomplish many goals. And so for you, that's a shift that maybe you could go into, to know that you can have what you want and it doesn't require you to hustle or work hard. The last one that I want you to know is that there is no quick or right way to your success. I'll repeat that one. There is no quick or right way to your success. A lot of the times we get caught up in this idea that there's these quick ways, and if I take these 5 steps, and if I do this thing the right way, then I'll have success. I just want you to let go of that idea, to entertain another thought, that there isn't a quick way, that everything takes a process. And that I'm going to be talking to you about your own process. And there's not a right way. There is a way maybe that's better, but I don't like to get us caught into right or wrong. Anytime we get caught into right or wrong, we always find ourselves in a place of judgment. And it can always be subjective. So you might say, Natalie, is this the right thing for me to do right now? And what I'll offer is, let's get out of right or wrong, right? But let's get into what's best. What's best is, what can I do at this moment with the information that I have to make a decision? And then you make that decision in that moment that it was the best decision. Now, tomorrow, you may come back and say, Natalie, I've gotten more information, and now I think I should make another decision. And then you would make another best decision. But let's stay out of right or wrong as we are setting our goals. So have your paper and pen. If you came on a little later, make sure you have paper and pen so that you can start to do some of these exercises. The trainings will absolutely be interactive. This training is interactive. And so what I want you to know is to start to reflect on 2019. This year is not over, okay? So I don't want us to escape where we are in regards to the year so far. This is also going to help you to set some authentic goals for 2020, because now we're going to start to see what's important to you. What's important to you? So in 2019, what do you feel most grateful for this year? I want you to write it down. Maybe it's that one thing that you're saying, you know what, Natalie, I am most grateful for this year. And want you to write that thing down. Whatever it is for you, what are you most grateful for? I am most grateful for, as I think about that question, the transformation that happened. I remembered last year, I said a word or I get a phrase for the year. And that word or phrase for me was exponential growth. Exponential growth. Now, my mind told me what exponential growth would look like. I'm going to talk to you about your mind in a moment, but my mind told me what that was going to look like. But I had no idea exponential growth was something that was going to happen in me. And I'm most grateful for that, because I needed that work to take me to the next level. Here's your next question. What outcomes did you achieve that were most fulfilling for you? Remember, we're thinking about 2019, the year that you're in currently. What are some of the outcomes that you achieved that were most fulfilling for you? And I want you to write down that, and it might be just one for this moment. Just think of one outcome that you were able to achieve that was most fulfilling for you. It doesn't have to be anything great. It could be something small. It's your choice about what you choose as far as that outcome. And then the last question is, what can you look back to in 12 months from now? So next year, 2020, November 30th, what would you look back on that you would feel were most excited about that you achieved? I was most excited about achieving that I was able to become an international speaker, that I was able to go to the Bahamas, and my book was able to become in the hands or get into the hands of women in the Bahamas. That might be something that I would look back in 12 months and say I felt most excited about. So in your life, really think about this, because this is helping us. We're already moving into you getting into your authentic self and setting those goals. And you being able to say, what's that one thing that I would look back and feel excited that I achieved? Now let's go forward. What I want you to now do is really think about the strengths, the practices, or the help from others that helped you to create your 2019 success. What are the strengths? And those could be your strengths. The practices, like what are the things you did, whether you read some books, whether you joined a group, whether you went to an event, whether you got coaching or counseling or mentoring. What was the help that helped you to get the success that you had in 2019? This is going to help us to know what you need for 2020 or some other ideas of what could be helpful for 2020 so you can accomplish those goals. So what are those things that help to have your 2019 success? And for you, I want you to know that you define what success is. There is no definition for success. It's what you defined it to be. So some of you might say success is that I made it to November 30th and I still am emotionally stable and mentally clear. That's success, and that's totally okay. But making sure you say, well, how did I get there? Maybe it was my spiritual practices. Maybe it was me being consistent with something in my life. Whatever that is, I want you to write it down. And then your last thing, I want you to see what energizes and motivates you, because this is what's going to keep you going in your 2020 goals. So I want you to answer the question, what were the most joyous moments for you in the last 12 months? It could be work related or in your life. Maybe it's that, you helped that one client at work and they were able to do X, Y, and Z. I helped my teammate. I was able to see my children do X, Y, and Z. You get to decide what that is. But those most joyous moments, one of the most joyous moments for me is when a woman says, Natalie, I never thought of it that way. I would have never been able to make that connection. Those are the moments for me that brings me the greatest joy and the greatest fulfillment. And so for you, I want you to write that, because this is what we're going to use to help you with your 2020 goals to keep you motivated and achieving the goals that you set out. Now, here's the last. I said the last one on the last slide, but this is truly the last one. What's stopping you? Listen, we all know that we have a goal, we have a dream, we have a vision, and there's something that's stopping us. And I want you to be aware of what's stopping you. So I'm going to give you 4 questions to reflect on. What's the most personal, disappointing moment for you in the last 12 months? And I want you to think about it in regards to your goal. Maybe it's something for 2019 that you set out to do, you wanted to do, and you didn't. You were disappointed. Maybe it's that you didn't have the support that you needed. Maybe it's that you tried to launch something and it didn't work. Maybe it's that you had something that happened that what you weren't expecting to happen. But think about it in regards to a goal that you had for this year. Then I want you to say to yourself, where did you not meet the expectation? Where did you not meet it? What you expected and why? Why? I know for me, what was stopping me in 2019 for accomplishing my goals was me, my own limiting thinking, my own limited beliefs around certain topics or areas. And I realized, Natalie, you are holding your own self back, which is why I sought out some support so that I could move beyond that point. And then the next one I want you to ask yourself is, what did you learn about yourself that kept you from achieving your goals? I learned that I had some beliefs about shame around my own self, and I had beliefs still about being a burden that was just kind of lingering. Another belief that I realized, and I'll share this one with you guys because I know women also have this challenge, is the belief that I could not have what I wanted. I did not realize how deep rooted that belief was for me, that I couldn't have what I wanted. I learned that about myself. And then, are you willing to let go of this goal? So remember, there was a goal from this year that maybe you didn't accomplish or did not go the way that you wanted. Are you willing to let go of this goal, or is there a part of you that still wants it? If so, we're going to bring it into 2020 and maybe do it in a different way as I teach you in the training. You have questions, put them in the comments, and I'll go back to look at them to answer them. So let's reflect. We reflected on 2019 only for you to go forward. Now we're getting ready to go forward into 2020. We are about 4 weeks away from 2020 and the vision that you want to have for it. So what I want you to now do is look at these 5 areas of your life. And in this training, we're only going to have time to focus on one of them. But there are 5 areas of your life that I want you to reflect on after the training and really set a goal, if just one, for each area. So we have livelihood and lifestyle, body and wellness, creativity and learning, relationships and society, and essence and spirituality. And I'm getting ready to break these areas down so you'll know what each of them looks like. And then I want you to choose one area. So livelihood and lifestyle is your career, it's your money, it's work, it's home, it's your style, it's your space, your possessions, fashion, travel, and resources. So as you can see, it covers a broad area. We have body and wellness. So that's healing, it's fitness, it's food, it's rest, relaxation, mental health, sensuality, and movement, right? So let's move to the other 3 areas. Then you have creativity and learning. That's your artistic and your expressive self, your interests, your education, and your hobbies. And we have relationships and society, which is romance, friendship, family, collaboration, community, and causes. And then the last one is your essence and spirituality. That's your soul, your inner self, truth, intuition, faith, and your practices. So we're going to look at these 5 areas. I would like for you to choose one to really focus on. And that's so important because a lot of the times we don't accomplish our goals because we are focused on too many things. We cannot give but so much energy to something. When we are able to give all of our energy to at least one thing, we're able to accomplish it as well. And so for this training, let's just focus on one. And I ask the question, what do you really want? When you think about that particular area and even one of those sub areas, what do you really want? We're going to look at how to move forward in that. The first step, though, in getting what you really want is you got to get out of your head. You spend most of your day just like I do. We spend a lot of our day, a lot of our time in our heads. Our heads with past experiences, with the inner critic, which is just that negative chatter in our heads, the limitations. I told you about my own limiting beliefs a moment ago, and our negative thinking. Our mind is an amazing, amazing, amazing organ, but our mind also gets in our way. It gets in our way, and it is actually intended to do that. Its function is to keep you alive. And so a lot of that is around fears to keep you alive, to keep you survive. It can be very adaptive, but it also can be paralyzing. So in order for us to go to this vision for 2020, I'm going to take you out of your head because that's the place where you spend a lot of time trying to figure out things, trying to analyze things, trying to make things perfect. We're not going to do that. I'm going to bring you into your heart space, which is what I absolutely love teaching women how to do. And we're going to go into our emotions. Because what you are not aware of is your emotions have a greater power to move you more than your rational thinking. Your emotions have a greater power to do that. We are emotional beings. We buy usually off of emotion. We are compelled to do things out of emotion. And so we're going to utilize that as a strength in this training because I want to teach you about your core desired feelings, how to set those goals based on how you want to feel. So let's move into that. There are 2 keys to identify your core desired feelings. I'm going to teach you how to do that based on how you want to feel. So let's go back to me and let's talk about my journey of losing the 14 pounds. What I did was I set an intention. I'm going to teach you about those in a moment. But in me doing that, I identified how I wanted to feel. Yes, I did not set a weight goal. I did not set a dress goal. I set an intention on how I wanted to feel. And my feelings was I wanted to feel sexy and confident in my body. That's what I wanted to do. I did not know how that was going to happen. I just knew that those were my core desired feelings. And I set an intention on how I wanted to feel. I was not going after chasing the goal of losing weight. This applies to everything, but I'm using this as an example so you really can see how it worked for me. I did not chase the goal of losing weight. I had already tried that and it didn't work. I was chasing the feeling that I was looking for, which was I wanted to feel sexy and confident in my body. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how it unfolded, and then I'm going to come back to the slide. So what I ended up doing was around January, I started getting this undeniable urge to cut my hair. I cannot tell you how that feels, but it was an undeniable urge to cut my hair. And so at the time, my hair probably was to my shoulders. In the picture you saw it, it was natural, so it kind of shrinks. And so I told my stylist I was ready to cut my hair. And I was like, okay, so she cut it, but she didn't cut it short enough. So I don't know if you followed me for a while, you would have seen that journey. And so I just could not shake that undeniable feeling of cutting my hair. So then she cut it a little shorter. And I was like, okay, I think we're there, but it still didn't go away. So this was around March because I had an event. I had my conference in March. And I remember thinking, this feeling is still not going away. Okay. So anyway, long story short, I went ahead and got a barber to cut the sides down, and I ended up with what you see today. And I can't tell you how amazing I felt after my hair was gone. And that undeniable urge that I just could not shake, it dissipated. I mean, it just went straight away. Why do I share that? Because I'm very much in tune with my inner voice and that leading, guiding, I call them sometimes divine downloads, like those whispers that you hear, you know, that idea that you get in your head that you just like, I wonder why I had that thought, or wow, that's kind of weird, or I don't know if that'll ever happen for me. You know, those type of whispers that I'm talking about. Put it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. And so that was the first step. The hair was gone. Okay. So then, ladies, this is so how amazing it happens when we set intentions. And I really want to talk about those in a moment, about how powerful they really are. So one day I was in the car and I was listening to the radio. And I heard a commercial about Dr. Ian Smith's program. His program is called Clean Lean, 30 Days to Clean Lean, or Clean Lean 30-Day Program. I can't remember how it was said. And I heard it. And in that moment, true story, in that moment, I said, I have to do that. I said, I have to do that. So I came home and I read up on the program and I downloaded the book and I started looking through to see if this is something I was going to do. Like I was totally getting back into my head, right? Like, oh my God, can I do this? Will I be able to keep up with it? Am I going to be able to eat? All of that good stuff. And so they had the program laid out day by day. If you're wanting to do it, I really highly recommend it. And I started doing the program. And so, or I started entertaining the idea to do the program. And then here's the other thing that I knew was so strategic in me accomplishing my goal. I went to my husband and I said to him, hey, honey, I'm doing this program. I would love for you to join me. Now, if you know me, then, or if you know me, you know my husband, he's not always on board with everything, right? He's just like, okay. He's like most men. I'm like, okay, maybe. But he immediately said, let's do it. And so in that, I knew that things were aligning for me to reach my goal, which I had set the intention for. And I set the intention for what? That I would feel sexy and confident in my body. And so why I'm telling you the story, because that was the process that I'm getting ready to teach you about how I was chasing the feeling. I maintained chasing the feeling. And as I did that, things just started aligning for me to reach my goal. And so in that program, I did it for the 30 days and I continued it beyond. I think I did another month of it because I really wanted to see if I could get more results. So I lost about 8 pounds in that. And a part of the program is intermittent fasting. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But I did intermittent fasting. I continued to still do intermittent fasting, which allowed me to continue to lose the weight. And it really just puts me in a place where there's a break in eating for a certain number of hours. You don't eat anything. But when I tell you how easy it was, it aligns with another one of my core desired feelings, which is ease and flow. Ease and flow is how I gauge my decision making because I want to create the feeling of ease and flow. Because for us, we're after the feeling. We're after the feeling. When you think of anything that you've ever done, you're really after a feeling, whether it was a positive thing or a negative thing. So in our warm-up exercise, ladies, I want you to think about first how you don't want to feel. If you can get really clear on how you don't want to feel, we can start to get real clear on how you do want to feel. And in all that I do as a licensed professional counselor, a coach, a speaker, an author, a podcaster, a mother, a wife, the one feeling, or there's two actually, that I don't want to feel is stressed and overwhelmed. I don't want to feel that way. I can see how people can really get stressed and overwhelmed with the things that I have to do. So I know clearly how I don't want to feel. And I want you to reflect. How do you not want to feel? And write it down. And if you're comfortable, put it in the comments, ladies, because I really want to see what your thoughts are about how you don't want to feel. Okay? And once you get really clear on that, then you can start to think about how you do want to feel. So remember, my feelings were what? Overwhelmed and stressed. That's how I do not want to feel. Well, my core desired feelings are ease and flow, which are the opposite of those words. So you can see that even as you're getting clearer about how you want to feel, I'm going to show you in a moment how to align your choices and decisions so that you can accomplish that in goal setting and the goal that you want to accomplish for 2020. But before we do that, I always teach women about suspending judgments. And I don't want you to start judging about how you want to feel, right? So they're thinking like, I want to be incredibly wealthy. Maybe that's your goal. I don't want you to feel bad about that. I don't want you to feel bad that you want to feel loved or that you want to meet a certain income goal, or maybe that's your goal for 2020. I don't want you to start judging how you want to feel. I just want you to say, this is where I am, this is what I want, before you start moving into it. Because what we all have to establish before we move forward is that you're worthy of your desire, you're worthy of your goal, you're worthy of having what you say you really want. You are worthy of that. And you are also worthy of feeling good. You're worthy of feeling peaceful. You're worthy of feeling confident. You are worthy of that. And you deserve all of it. And so before we move into it, I want you to remember that, because that's probably where the judgments are coming from, this underlying belief that maybe you're not worthy of it. You are 100% worthy of it. So let's move into that as we're shifting into you setting your goals. Step number one, get clear on how you want to feel. Get clear about how you want to feel. I'm going to send you 101 core desired feelings. And from that list, I want you to pick 3 to 5. Okay? 3 to 5 from the 101 list that you want to feel in your life. And in that, those are going to be some of those core desired feelings that are going to be guiding you along the way. I had another goal for 2019 that I want to accomplish that I set in 2018. Actually, I set an intention and said I wanted to start a podcast. I left it alone. Some goals, side note, some goals that you are going to put out for 2020, I want you to just set it and just leave it alone. Okay. And this was one of those goals for me. I didn't do anything with the goal. But one night, had to be around February, I woke up in the middle of the night. And I went to Facebook. I know some of y'all do it too, so don't judge me. And ended up going to see an ad that came across my timeline. I cannot explain to you how I found the ad, what I did to get, I have no idea. What it said though is that they were looking for podcasters. And in that moment, I knew that it was one of those inspired moments, one of those moments that God was aligning for me to have what I wanted. And so I went ahead, reached out to the couple from California, had a conversation with them, and it was a no-brainer. It was time to move forward with the podcast. And that's how Awaken Your Inner Whole Woman came about. But I was clear about what I wanted and how I wanted to feel. So let's get clear. Let's get clarity for you, because that's for many of us is what we're lacking the clarity on it. So if you were to think about a perfect day for you from the morning to the time of going to bed, what would it look like? And I would challenge you after this training to write it down. What would a perfect day look like for you from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed? And really map out in your mind what that looks like. Because as we get clearer and clearer about what it is that we want, it helps us to move into the direction of having it and really taking the action steps to have it. Okay. The next thing I want you to do, step number 2, is to set an intention. Set an intention. I told you what my intention was, one of them, at least for this year. Another one was for me to reinvent myself. For me to reinvent myself. I wanted to set that intention about doing that in a way that felt good. That was an intention that I set. And I remember that there was a stylist that I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I think I need to look into having this. After being a mom and nursing kids, I became really comfortable with just wearing comfortable, right? And I lost that sense of myself. And so I remember I was challenged to go through my closet. And some of you need to do this. Before this year ends, I want some of you to purge. I want some of you to let go of stuff. To really look through. And your closet is such a great place to start. So I go in my closet and I'm looking at clothing that was in there. And I realized that a lot of the clothing that I still had that I could not wear, and make that disclaimer, was from when I was in college. Like all of these years later, 15 years or so later, I still have all these clothes in my closet, right? And I realized that I was holding on to, I want you guys to catch this part. I was holding on to who I was then. That's why I wouldn't let the clothes go. I was not wearing them. But I was holding on to who I was then. Right? I was independent. I was free. I was single. I was doing things. I was able to do things. And I realized that that was a part of me that wanted to connect to that. And in that was able to do that work to say, Natalie, you're wanting to do this. And so I started changing my style and connecting back to the woman that I was then and feeling really good about her. And also transitioning to the woman who I am now. Because some of that stuff just didn't fit who I was anymore. But I was holding on to the item of clothing because it gave me that sense of it. That makes sense. And so for many of you, I don't know who I'm talking to, but there are you on this training that really need to go back to your closets before the year ends and really assess if it's looking like who you are today or even who you want to become. Or does it look like some part of you that you're trying to hold on to? And is that something that you need to continue to do? But intention setting is really powerful. And as you can see, as I gave my own example, what it does is it helps your subconscious mind, which is a part of your mind that really is running your life. Like you might think your conscious mind, which is the part of you that's really alert right now, like you're able to see things in the room that you're in, you're hearing me speak, that's your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is where your data is stored, all the memories and the files, and truly is running your life without you even knowing it. A lot of the programming in there is doing that. But setting an intention really speaks to your subconscious mind, and it really points it in the direction that you want to go. And so we're going to set those intentions, and I want to help you, support you to do that. So are we ready, ladies? So put ready in the comments if you're ready to set some intentions for 2020. When you're doing an intention setting, you really want to think about it in a positive way. So you wouldn't say that I want to quit smoking, right? You might want to say that I want to, I set an intention, and I try not to say want to, so I shouldn't have said want to, but I set an intention that I'll make healthy choices or that I am making my health a priority. It's a more positive way of saying that. They should feel really realistic and right for you. Make them very precise and concise and consent. And then be specific, all right? You don't want to be all very broad. You want to be specific, but you don't want to say how it's going to happen. So you state the end result, but then not say how. What that does is it allows the ability for it to come however. You want to phrase it in the now. So you might say, I have peace about my life, or You might say that I am, you can use I am statements. I feel, which is another one that I use. I feel sexy and confident in my body. But I try to eliminate the word want, and I didn't say why, but you want to eliminate the word want because it oftentimes puts you in a place of lack, right? So it's like, I want more money. It makes you feel lack. You say, I have more money. I have more money than I have money left over after paying my bills. So it's more specific, but you don't really say that how it happens. Right? You just leave it kind of open-ended for it to come as it will. And then you set that intention. And for you in this training, I just want you to focus on one area that we focused on earlier. After you set that intention, now we're going to talk about how can you reach your goals in a way that feels the way you want to feel. So if your goal was that you want to, I wanted to feel more confident. I want to feel sexy and confident, right? Those are my core desired feelings. That's how I want to reach my goal. And whatever answer you have will help you to adjust your actions and your behaviors. Because what you're going to say is, okay, this is my goal. I want to feel peace and I want to feel joy. Then you would make sure that your actions and your behaviors are aligned with those feelings. Now, you're not always going to feel that way every day. You're not going to wake up every day and feel peace and joy. It's just not going to happen. What you will say, though, when you start to feel stuck, you're going to say, I'm really looking forward to feeling peace and joy about my job or about my passion. I'm really looking forward to, or I'm clear that I want to feel. Those are two ways to get you back on track with the core desired feeling, because it's going to help you to stay on track. It's going to help you to make decisions to get you back on track. Right now, I'm not feeling peace and joy. What do I need to do so that I can feel peace and joy as you're working on your goal? But not just thinking about how you're going to feel. Now we've got to have a plan, right? Because a goal without a plan is just a wish. You just can wish and wish and wish. And I don't want you to just stay in the wishing stage, because it takes just as much energy to wish as it does to plan. It takes just as much energy to wish as it does to plan. And so if we can get out of that, we can start to really set these goals. And ladies, you can crush your 2020 goals, which is what I want to see happen for you. So you've picked already one area that you want to make a significant impact in the next 12 months. If you haven't, make sure you do that. One area. Then after this training, I really want you to set up to say, okay, how can I do this in other areas? And every year I go through each of those areas and I write out some goals to really see how to do that. Your next thing is then to ask yourself, what's the next step you need to accomplish the goal? And I ask my favorite question. I ask it of God. I call it intuition, inner wisdom. What's the next best step that I need to accomplish my goal? Many of us are hoping or wanting to get the whole map. Now, I don't disagree with planning things out. I plan a lot. But I often ask, what's the next best step? So I don't get caught up in all of the steps. Because if I don't do the next best step, this whole plan won't ever happen, right? And so I ask, God, what's the next best step? And then I take that next best step, and knowing that each step leads to the next step. So if you were to think about that goal that you wrote down, that intention that you just set, what is the next best step for you to accomplish that goal? Write it down. Share it in the comments if you're comfortable. What's that next best step for you? And then you're going to set up an action plan. And so I will be emailing you those core desired feelings. You're going to get that right after this training. And then you're also going to get an action step packet. Okay. So the action step packet is going to ask you how do you want to feel? And then each day, it has a daily and it has a monthly. You're going to think of things that you can do that day, that week, that quarter, that year to feel that way, to meet that goal. All right. Remember, all of this is driven by our emotions, how we want to feel. The other thing that I want you to do with your action step, your action plan, is 3 people you can collaborate with. Now that could be an accountability partner, an accountability group. That could be some like networking. That could be coaching program, a counselor, It could be anything. You could bring all a group together and create a mastermind, whatever you think of, the three people you can collaborate with, okay, in order for you to meet that goal and feel the way that you want to feel while you're meeting the goal. And then I also want you to do a visualization. The mind is so powerful. I talk about the mind. I teach about the mind. I do a lot of mindset coaching, and realizing that you have to be able to visualize it before you accomplish it. The mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's not real. That's why there's so many industries that you could think of that make millions of dollars off of visualization, off of you visualizing something that doesn't even exist. But you believe it, right? You believe it, and so the mind creates it. And so what I want you to do is write down this affirmation and be consistent. You could do this on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. I am happy and grateful that I now. So whatever that intention was, whatever that goal is that you're setting, you're going to say, I am happy and grateful that I now have whatever it is, or I now am whatever it is, that I now accept whatever it is. And being able to put yourself in a position that you're now training your mind to see it even before it happens. So then you've got to do something else. As we're talking about taking action, you've got to plan for the obstacles. You've got to plan for the obstacles. Whatever that goal is, whatever that intention is, you've got to plan for the obstacles. What can get in the way of me being successful? And for many, if not all of us, a lot of that is us. How am I going to plan for the fear of being seen? There is a fear. There's a fear, and it's called the fear of being seen. And essentially what that means is you're afraid that people will see you, people will judge you, people will reject you. You're scared of being vulnerable. How am I going to plan for that? Because my goal next year is to do Facebook Lives. And I have to be in front of that camera, and I'm afraid of people seeing me. Like, how am I going to get over that? Like, that's a part of what needs to happen for you to set authentic goals and achieve them. You've got to plan for the possible obstacles. How am I going to plan for not being able to have this resource, and then having possible solutions? What can I do about it? And being proactive in that is going to help you to actually achieve your goals. Close the door. Mommy's doing something. Close the door. So the next step is, I'm almost done. Close the door. The next step is to, sorry. No, babe. Thank you. And so you're going to plan for the possible solutions that you can do immediately, right? And you really want to be proactive in planning ahead. Like me, I was proactive with planning ahead with this training, and somebody pried into the locked door. Anyway, another story for another day. All right. So the other thing that I want you to really focus on, ladies, before we start taking questions, is surrender and allow. I teach this with authentic training, goal setting, is surrender. Surrender control as you're thinking about this goal, what you want to see happen. Surrender to control, surrendering having to do it, to think it all through, to know it all, that everything has to be perfect, thinking you have to be perfect, thinking you're so behind in time, you'll never get there, all of that stuff. You've got to surrender and let go of that and just allow. Just allow. I am a big, big, big component on those things that are for you will come to you. So either you'll attract them or you'll create them. And that's about the allowing process. The other thing with surrender and to allow is you've got to detach from the outcome. You will set this intention to have this goal, and then you will say, this is how it has to happen. All right. So I am going to launch my business in 2020, and this is how it has to happen. And I've got to caution you. There are so many ways that this thing can unfold. There are so many ways that it can unfold, and allowing it to unfold, being proactive in it, right? So it's not also about, surrender isn't about sitting back and putting your feet up and just thinking it's going to magically happen. That's not what I'm saying. You got to do the work. However, it does mean, though, that you detach from the outcome and you just allow things to unfold. There are things that can come to you that you could never imagine. You could never have set it up. I can tell you for myself. There are things that just fell in place that I was like, I could not have done that any other way. And so detaching from the outcome is such an important piece of this. And that's what I teach a lot at my live events. When we have retreats, I get every woman to set an intention at the beginning of the 3-day experience. And then I ask them to do what I'm asking you to do, which is detach from the outcome. Because then it allows it to come in a way. And I remember one of the women there, she wanted to get clarity about her next move for her job. She was in a place that things were happening and she needed to have clarity about it. When we did the exercises throughout the experience, what came through for her was about releasing some stuff that she was still holding on from family issues. That's what that came up. Well, that Sunday I had a conversation with her, and what we concluded was that was the piece that was needed for her to have the clarity about her next move in her career. Letting go of some stuff that she was holding on to. It was blocking her from being able to move in her career. And she had total peace, even though she had no answers about what was going to happen next with her job or her career move. She had no answers that came through about that. The answers that she got in regards to the work that she did with healing from her mom and family issues allowed her to have peace. And why did I say that was important? Because it's a core desired feeling. She was after the feeling of peace. She had the peace that she needed, so it didn't matter what happened with the job. And so that's why I'm teaching you about detaching from the outcome. It's so, so important. So I'm going to pause for a moment, and I'm going to go to the Q&A and get questions. So give me a moment where I stop sharing, and I want to hear from you guys about questions and re-questions that you may have for me. And then we're going to do one last part. So let me know, ladies. I hear ready. I'm going back over the goals. Okay, so I'm looking at questions and comments from earlier because I couldn't see both earlier. You haven't heard of authentic goals. So let me know if this was helpful in regards to authentic goals. I have taught on smart goals before. I've lived out smart goals before, and they still work. However, I don't actually go there with them as much. I really teach about authentic stuff and your emotions. And so I see some people don't want to feel overwhelmed. Let's talk about how that could look for you, and what core feelings are you wanting for that. And I'm hearing this is so good. Yes, it's been very helpful. Okay, let me know. I just want to get feedback. I couldn't see your comments as I was going through the training part. But let me know if you have questions as well, ladies, because I want to support you in doing that. You have a few things to work on. So I always like to give assignments. And I want you to go back through the things that we talked about. I'm going to send you out those core desired feelings. So some of you might have said, Natalie, I don't know what feelings to choose from. You're okay. I have 101 of them. So you're going to find several that are going to speak to you. And I really challenge you to go to those that are speaking to you. They will jump off the page. You will see them very clearly. Doing that will help. And then you're also going to get this packet because I really want to help you and support you with staying on track. It's one thing to say, okay, Natalie, I've set this intention and I have these authentic goals in mind. It's another thing to actually accomplish them. And so I want to make sure that you are doing that, like asking yourself the questions, taking that inspired action, the whispers that you hear, the downloads, the times that you know God is saying, move, do this, and do it and learn to do it without, oh, you missed some of them. Okay, so I'll make sure it is recorded. And doing it without questioning it. Like that has been so key for me, not questioning them, trusting myself enough to trust God to move in them. So do you set goals for a lifetime or a specific time? Good question. I do both. So now I'm going to go back and set those 50-year goals. It was a little scary. I'll share this for the lifetime stuff. Karen's asking the question. I was a little afraid because a lot of the times we don't think about it, but we're afraid, or a lot of times we have anxiety about death. And so thinking about 50 years out, I was like, oh my God, like what be here? What's going to happen? Like it brought up a lot of that anxiety. But I worked through it, and I'll go back and reset those goals because I did that. The lifetime goals, Karen, I did probably 2006. So I haven't revisited those goals. I do challenge you, though, to first start with the specific time frame, so within the next year, If that feels like it's too overwhelming, ladies, some of you might say, Natalie, I'm not sure if I can do a year. Start with the 6 months. If 6 months feels too long, start with the 3 month period. 3 months feel too long, just start with 30 days. If you did 30-day goals, you're going to reach a 12-month goal if you're consistently doing it. And so that's also a thing. But if you're able to stretch beyond, do a lifetime. Yes, I encourage that. Think beyond you. Because as I started going further out, I started thinking about what I wanted my kids to have and what I wanted their kids to have. What legacy did I want to leave? It kind of pushes you into that kind of mindset, that kind of thinking. So thank you for asking that. Other questions, ladies? Other thoughts? Someone share in the comments about a goal you're setting. Just so I don't know maybe how I can support you. Goal you're setting for 2020. I see people are typing, so I'm going to give you a moment to reflect on that and let me know. And then I have one other thing that I'm going to share with you. I wanted to honor our time, so we made it. And thank you for joining it. I saw someone typing, so I was waiting on that. Thank you for joining this training. I am so excited about you all and what you're going to do for 2020. There is this, I can't even describe it, but there's something happening, and I know some of that is just supernatural for the year of 2020. And I'm just excited about what you guys are going to do. There is nothing too great or too small to accomplish. And I want you to know that you can accomplish it. I was waiting on the question. Okay, so I want to make sure there wasn't one coming through. There's nothing too great or too small for you to accomplish, and you can do it. So take the steps. I gave you the 3 steps in how to do it, and I want to review them. I'll go over them again. And then I want to see you move forward. All right. So information without application leads to what we call constipation. I don't want you to get this information and not apply it. So making sure you apply it. I'm going back to the screen to review those 3 steps, and then I'm going to end after that. So the 3 steps. The first one was to set that at intention. Here it is. The first step was to get clear on how you want to feel. All right, so I'm just reviewing. Then you want to set that intention. And then the third step is about taking action. You being able to take the action that you need. So some of you will say, Natalie, I want to move forward and I need support doing that. I need support doing that. And I want to help you to do that. And so crushing your 2020 goals might look like, Natalie, I need more clarity. Or Natalie, I want to see what getting support will look like to meet my goals. I'm open to doing both of those in a clarity call. So when I send out those 2 handouts, I'm going to send you a link for you to schedule a clarity call. You can let me know that. It's a 20 to 30 minute call. We're going to see more clarity for your 2020 goals and see how you can get some support around meeting those goals for you. I have not accomplished all of my goals by myself. That is not the truth. I got support and I needed support. I realized that there was, but so far I could take myself. So far I could take myself. The other piece was that I have been moving into areas that I've never done before. When I started the vision of the Whole Woman Experience, it was in 2015, but that vision was from a 15-year-old little girl. So I just this year realized that the 15-year-old self, which is a part of who I am, she only had a certain capacity for the goal, for the vision, because she was only 15. So she only was able to create a vision from where she was, from what she was either able to see or what she was given. And so I realized this year that I had outgrown that 15-year-old's vision. I'm thankful that I was able to do it. It took 23 years or 22 years for it to come to pass. I was thankful that I was able to get to that point and see it. And then I realized, Natalie, there's another level. You've got to step into this other level of this vision. You need support to do that. And so I've done that work. I've done the inner healing work that I know I teach women, but I also do that work myself. And so getting that support will really help you to move into that next level. And you can schedule a clarity call. And those clarity calls are free. I don't charge for the clarity call. They're complimentary. But we would talk about where you are in regards to moving forward and the support that I could offer you to get there. So any other questions? I have enjoyed this, ladies. I am, stop my screen share. I don't see any other questions, I see a comment. This is awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Wakita. Ladies, I will see you guys very soon. Happy holidays. I hope all is well with everyone. I am thinking of you guys and praying for you all for this holiday season. And I will send you out that email today. I see one more person typing in. You are so welcome. You're welcome, Catherine and Joy. And Wakita, Tiffany, I didn't greet you. Shalom is on here. Latoya, Kim. I think I got everybody else. Joy. Thank you, ladies. I will see you guys soon. Bye for now.